Okay, yay, we are live. Just do a real quick share before we get started. Basically, we got a box of books. So, we are going to go through what we got. Now, all of these will hopefully be out on the shelves soon. But some of them we can't put out until they actually come out. And they all have to be cataloged. So, let's start with the first one. Rita Mae Brown and Sneaky Pie Brown, Sealed with a Hiss. It's another one of the Mrs. Murphy mysteries. Yep. Where the animals can talk, but the humans can't understand them. The Summer of You and Me by Denise Hunter. Maggie Reynolds is finally ready for love again until the past shows up in the form of her late husband's look-alike. Includes discussion questions. Every Sweet Thing is Better by Samantha Crewson. A woman with a violent past gets a chance at redemption in this upmarket suspense debut, perfect for fans of Lisa Taddeo and Tiffany McDaniel. 13 years ago, Providence Bird threw the family car in reverse and ran over her mother. Even though her mother survived, that single instant of teenage madness made Providence a felon and irrevocably altered her life. When her mother disappears years later under suspicious circumstances, Providence tells herself that returning home is her chance to find closure after a prolonged estrangement from her family. Never mind that this is only half of the truth. She's also returning to finally confront her abusive father, Tom Bird. Nothing can stand about Providence's certainty that he is guilty of whatever terrible thing has happened to her mother. Women of War, the Italian assassins, spies, and couriers who fought the Nazis, by Suzanne Cope, author of Power Hungry. The gripping history of the Italian anti-fascist resistance during World War II, told through the stories of our spectacularly courageous women who risked their lives to overthrow the Nazi occupation. The Amalfi Curse by Sarah Penner. Powerful witchcraft, a hunt for sunken treasure, forbidden love on the high seas, beware the Amalfi Curse. Haven Ambrose, a trailblazing nautical archaeologist, has come to the sun-soaked village of Positano to investigate the mysterious shipwrecks along the Amalfi coast, but Haven is hoping to find more than old artifacts beneath the azure waters. She is secretly on a quest to locate a trove of priceless gemstones her late father spotted on his final dive. Upon Haven's arrival, strange maelstroms and misfortunes start plaguing the town. Is it nature or something more sinister at work? Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. She's the one that got away, he's the one that never let go. From New York Times bestselling author of Lost and Lassoed comes the latest book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, a small-town romance in which past lovers get a second chance to discover what they lost. The Road to Tender Hearts by Annie Hartnett. A darkly comic and warm-hearted novel about an old man on a cross-country mission to reunite with his high school crush, bringing together his adult daughter, 2 orphan kids, and a cat who can predict death. Okay. I mean, the cat can predict death is not exactly new. I remember there being a cat who lived at a care facility who could always seem to tell when someone was going to die and spent time with them. Alright. An Insignificant Case by Philip Margolin. Apparently, it's a thriller. It says so right here on the cover. When you're in serious trouble and need the finest legal talent, Charlie Webb is not the lawyer to call. Charlie Webb graduated from a third-grade law school and, when he couldn't get hired by any of the major law firms, opened his own law office, where he barely survives by handling cases for dubious associates from his youth and any court-appointed cases that come his way. Described as a leaky boat floating down the stream of life, Charlie has led an unremarkable life, personally and professionally. Then he's assigned by a judge to represent a decidedly crackpot artist who calls himself Guidano Sabatini, born Lawrence Weiss. Sabatini had once been arrested for breaking into a restaurant and stealing back a painting he had sold them. This isn't the first time he's done this sort of thing, and all because he was personally insulted by how and where the buyer chose to display the particular painting. But there's more to him than Sabatini chooses to present to the world. As Lawrence Weiss, he's also an accomplished card shark and burglar. With those skills, he not only stole his own painting, but he broke into the restaurant owner's safe and removed a flash drive. Not knowing what else Sabatini stole, Charlie Webb negotiates the return of the painting and other items in exchange for the owner dropping charges against Sabatini. But it's not that simple. The restaurant owner and her driver are arrested and charged with the sex trafficking of minors. And the contents of the flash drive threaten very powerful figures. When what was a minor theft case becomes a double homicide, and with the stakes so high, Sabatini is far from safe. Now Charlie Webb, an insignificant lawyer assigned to an insignificant case, is faced with the most important and deadliest case of his life. That kind of reminds me of when in the news there was that case of a burglar who stole a guy's laptop, and when he opened it up to look through stuff, he found some heinous stuff on there, and he turned it into the police. I think that happened in the UK? Not entirely certain, but I remember reading about it in the news. A Change of Habit by Sister Monica Clare. Leaving behind my husband, career, and everything I own to become a nun. I do believe this is a biography. It is a biography. Home on Hollyhock Lane, by Heather McGovern. One special cottage brings together two fixer-uppers in this delightfully sweet small-town romance. As the youngest of three sisters, C.C. Shipley is eager to make her own space in the world. She even has the perfect place in mind, the cottage on Hollyhock Lane. She's been saving for years to buy and restore the charming but run-down Craftsman, which just sold to someone else. So when the new and irritatingly sexy owner offers to hire C.C. as a historic consultant, she hops at the chance to nudge his plan for a quick-fix renovation into a thoughtful restoration. Though Dustin Long has been searching for a sense of home since childhood, that's not why he bought Hollyhock. He plans to flip the old miner's cottage and use the money to launch his construction business. And while every reno project comes with unexpected developments, Cece beats them all. She's as headstrong as she is gorgeous, but as they collaborate to restore the cottage to its former glory, he realizes they're also building something new together. Could Cece be the home Dustin's always wanted? Not my cup of tea. Romance is not my thing. For those of you who like that premise, come and get it. Davis Bunn, Fortunate Harbor. North Carolina's Outer Banks is the breathtaking backdrop for second chances, unexpected romance, and a thrilling quest in this heart-racing tale by the internationally best-selling author of the Miramar Bay novels. That tells me nothing about the book. It's a promise of better things to come. With its colorful history and miles of sand, tide, and windswept oaks, North Carolina's Outer Banks is a paradise for locals and tourists alike. Now, former native Curtis Gage is returning after 12 years. Professionally, his boss, mentor, and beloved friend, Amia, has made him director of operations for a new 5-star oceanfront resort. The hope is that he can ease brewing tensions with longtime residents unhappy about the project. Personally, it's a chance for the grieving widower to start a new life and come to terms with an old one. But he never imagined the risks or rewards. This coastal haven is in attorney Ray Alden's blood, and the resort's expansion is encroaching on precious, fortunate harbor. For Ray and the established family she represents, their generations-old heritage is not for sale for all the money in the world. Who'd have guessed that the ordeal would tie Ray to Curtis, a childhood sweetheart, now part of a corporate land grab, no less. Their reunion is further complicated by the discovery that the property is more valuable than even Ray believed. The proof is in a secret deed and a long-lost map. The President's Fact Book: The Achievements, Campaigns, and Legacies of Every President. I think they come out with that one every year for every president. Anne Hillerman's Shadow of the Solstice. In this continuation of New York Times bestselling author Anne Hillerman's Leaphorn, Chi, and Manuelito series, the detectives must sort out a Save the Planet meditation group connected to a mysterious death and a nefarious scheme targeting vulnerable indigenous people. The Navajo Nation police are on high alert when a U.S. Cabinet Secretary schedules an unprecedented trip to the little town of Shiprock, New Mexico, a visit that coincides with plans to resume uranium mining along the Navajo Nation border, and when the body of a stranger is found in an area restricted for the disposal of radioactive uranium waste, tensions only escalate. Is it coincidence that a cult with a propensity for violence arrives outside Shiprock that same week to celebrate the summer solstice? When the outsiders' erratic behavior makes their Navajo hosts uneasy, Officer Bernadette Manuelito is assigned to monitor the situation. She finds a young boy at grave risk, abused women, and other shocking discoveries that plunge her and Lieutenant Jim Chi into a volatile and deadly situation. Broken Fields by Marcy R. Rendon. Minnesota, 1970s. It's spring in the Red River Valley, and Cash Black Bear is doing field work for a local farmer until she finds him dead on the kitchen floor of the property's rented farmhouse. The tenant, a native field laborer, and his wife are nowhere to be found, but Cash discovers their young daughter, Shawnee, cowering under a bed. The girl, a possible witness to the killing, is too terrified to speak. In the wake of the murder, Cash can't deny her intuitive abilities. She is suspicious of the farmer's grieving widow, who offers to take in Shawnee temporarily. Meanwhile, Cash is scouring White Earth Reservation for Shawnee's missing mother, whom Cash wants to find before the girl is put in the foster system. Another body turns up. Concerned by the escalating threat, Cash races against the clock to figure out the truth of what happened in the farmhouse. Nancy Nagel? To light the way forward. Opening their hearts to love will bring surprises neither expected. Feeling adrift after the loss of her husband, Rosemary sets out to visit an old friend on Welks Island, undeterred by the threat of a hurricane. Before the storm hits, she finds herself at Tug's Diner, where she quickly connects with the owner. But the storm destroys the diner, compounding Tug's grief from losing his love the previous year. The longer Rosemary stays, the more she sees Tug's deep sadness and resolves to help him. Together with Tug's friends, Amanda and Paul, they all pitch in to aid the close-knit community in its recovery. Lots of romance books this time, it seems. Dream State, a novel by Eric Puchner? Oprah's Book Club pick 2025. Cece is in love. She has arrived early at her future mother-in-law's lake house in Salish, Montana to finish planning her wedding to Charlie, a young doctor with a brilliant life ahead of him. Charlie has asked Garrett, his best friend from college, to officiate the ceremony, though Cece can't imagine anyone more ill-suited for the task, an airport baggage handler haunted by a tragedy from his and Charlie's shared past. But as Cece spends time with Garrett, his gruff mask slips, and she grows increasingly uncertain about her future. And why does Garrett, after meeting Cece, begin to feel, well, human again? As a contagious stomach flu threatens to scuttle the wedding, and as Charlie and Garrett's friendship is put to the ultimate test, Cece must decide between the life she's dreamed of and the life she's never imagined. The events of that summer have long-lasting repercussions, not only on the three friends caught in its shadow, but also on their children, who struggle to escape their parents' story. Spanning 50 years and set against the backdrop of a rapidly warming Montana, Dream State explores what it means to live with the mistakes of the past, both our own and the ones we've inherited. Okay, we got a few more to go. Taran Matharu, The Tainted Khan, Book 2 of the Soulbound Saga. Jai dreams of being a dragon rider. He dreams of freedom from the Sabine Empire in a world in which he can lead his people, the Kidara, to freedom. But even though he has his dragon, Winter, she is still growing, just as he's still growing in his own power. And the road to victory is even more fraught than he had hoped. For the tribe that holds him are not his people. More, they are outcasts, the tainted, whose customs and political intricacies are as alien to him as the vast grasslands of the Great Steppe. He is a stranger amongst his own kind, and that is made all the more apparent by Jai's uncle, who is loath to cede power to his nephew upon Jai's return. And even if Jai could take the reins of leadership, he might not hold them for long. But an invading Sabine legion ravages the innocents of the Great Steppe, and Jai has mere months to learn a lifetime skills. As Jai tames his Kiroi steed, levels up his magic, and worries for the woman he loves, his bond with Winter is all he can rely on. For while the burden of destiny weighs him down, Winter will soon soar. How to Seal Your Own Fate by Kristen Perrin, a Castle Knoll murder mystery. Welcome back to Castle Knoll, the idyllic English village home to a surprising number of murders. Present day, Annie Adams is just settling into life in Castle Knoll when local fortune teller Peony Lane shares a cryptic message only hours before being found dead inside the locked Gravesdown estate. Annie has no choice but to delve into the dark secrets of her new countryside home in order to find out just what Peony Lane was trying to warn her about, before her brand new life comes crashing down around her. 1967. Teenage Frances Adams, Annie's great-aunt, finds herself caught between two men. Ford Gravesdown is one of the only remaining members of a family known for its wealth and dubious uses of power. Archie Foyle is a local who can't hold down a job and lives above the village pub. But when Frances teams up with Archie to investigate the car crash that killed most of Ford's family, it quickly becomes clear that this was no accident. Hints of cover-ups, lies, and betrayals abound. The question is just how far does the blackness creep through the heart of Castle Knoll? When Frances discovers secrets kept by both Ford and Archie, she starts to wonder what exactly has she gotten herself into. Two more books. The Houdini Club. Oh, I saw this one in the bookstore recently. Mir by Mir Bahmanyar. I'm butchering his name. I am completely sorry. Their prisoner of war escapes earned them the name the Houdini Club, and their elite World War II combat odyssey has never been told like this: uncensored, devastating, and thrilling. Drawn from previously unpublished sources and exclusive unguarded interviews with the greatest generation of United States Army Rangers, Darby's Rangers of World War II, military veteran and historian Mir Bahmanyar's personality-driven account follows an extraordinary band of American soldiers from their training to their battlefields in North Africa, France, Sicily, and mainland Italy, and for some, finally back to American shores. And last one. Gilmore Girls, the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge. The official guide to all the books by Erica Berlin. I am not a fan of Gilmore Girls. Kudos to you if you are, but I have never liked it. Welcome to the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge, the first ever official guide to the 300 plus books seen, mentioned, and referenced in the iconic series' 7-season run, and the ultimate way to tap into the psyche of Rory Gilmore. Inside these carefully researched pages are hundreds of book descriptions, guided prompts, and reading tips, and an essential episode guide index. Get ready to fall back in love with Stars Hollow all over again. Okay. So that is all of the books that came in. Just as a reminder, our third Thursday is going to be tomorrow. It's Berenstain Bears themed. Starts at 4 o'clock in the children's room. And we are closing early on Friday because it is Good Friday. We close at 2. So you want to get in before then to get your Easter reads. We will be open back up on Sunday from 9 to 2 as usual. Saturday from 9 to 2 as usual. And next Saturday is when we open up our patio. So we will be having our official patio opening. Starting at, I do believe, starting at 10 o'clock, we'll be having our patio opening. We'll be doing our Saturday steam out there. It's marble races. We're also supposed to have a therapy dog come. So come and be pet. So we will see you guys all there. We're also going to have a book sale going on out there. So that is all for this stream. So you guys have a wonderful day.